All right, let's continue into API2, broken authentication, keeping the same detailed book-style narrative. I'll explain how it works, why it's dangerous, and tie it to real-world cases like Twitter's token leak and mobile app session mismanagement. API2 broken authentication. Authentication is the gatekeeper of APIs. If it fails, attackers don't need to bother with clever payloads or brute force tricks. They walk right through the front door. Broken authentication covers a wide range of issues: weak credential handling, leaked tokens, poor session management, or incomplete implementation of standards like OAuth. When APIs get authentication wrong, the result is often catastrophic. Attackers impersonate users, steal data, or take over accounts at scale. And the sad part, many of these failures are entirely preventable with well-known best practices. Real-world case, Twitter API token leak. In 2022, Twitter disclosed that API tokens embedded in mobile applications had been exposed. These tokens weren't properly scoped or rotated, meaning that if an attacker extracted one from the mobile app binary, they could impersonate the app and interact with Twitter's APIs without restriction. Worse, because the tokens were long-lived, revocation was nearly impossible at scale without breaking legitimate app integrations. Attackers harvested these tokens and used them to automate scraping, spam, and account lookups. This wasn't just a breach of individual users, it was a systemic failure of how Twitter managed authentication credentials for its ecosystem. Real-world case, mobile apps and weak session management. Broken authentication also plagues mobile apps. Many apps use APIs behind the scenes, and often they mishandle session tokens. In 2019, researchers analyzing popular health and fitness apps found that several stored JWT access tokens unencrypted on the device's file system. If an attacker gained access to the phone, even temporarily, they could copy the token and replay it against the API indefinitely, because tokens had no expiration. Another common failure is weak session invalidation. For example, if a user logs out of a mobile banking app, the expectation is that their session token is invalidated server-side. But in practice, some APIs only deleted the token locally on the device. If an attacker had previously intercepted that token, say via a man-in-the-middle attack on insecure Wi-Fi, they could continue using it even after the victim had logged out. Why broken authentication happens? The root cause is often a combination of complexity and shortcuts. Implementing OAuth 2.0 or OIDC properly is hard. Developers sometimes cut corners, skipping PKCE for mobile clients, using static API keys instead of proper tokens, or failing to rotate secrets. Other times, security isn't prioritized during the rush to ship features, and authentication logic becomes inconsistent across services. Attackers know this. Instead of wasting time fuzzing payloads, they look for weak tokens, missing logout logic, or static credentials. One leaked or stolen token can give them the same power as a legitimate user, or worse, as an admin. Mitigation strategies. 1. Use standards correctly. Implement OAuth 2.0 with PKCE for public clients like mobile apps. Don't roll your own authentication. 2. Protect tokens. Store them securely, encrypt them at rest, and enforce expiration times. Never hardcode them into apps. 3. Enforce session invalidation. When a user logs out or changes their password, all active tokens should be revoked server-side. 4. Monitor for leaked tokens. Attackers often post stolen tokens on forums or paste sites. Regularly scan for your organization's tokens online. 5. Rotate keys frequently. Static API keys should be phased out. If you must use them, tie them to specific scopes and enforce rotation. Lab exercise. Here's a demo you can try. Create a test API that issues JBTs with no expiration, XBXB claim missing. Log in once, copy the token, and store it. Then log out and try using the same token again. Without an expiration or server-side invalidation, the API will continue to accept it indefinitely. Now add a 15-minute expiration and enforce logout token revocation. Repeat the test. The replayed token now fails. This illustrates why token lifetimes and session invalidation are critical. The lesson here is this: broken authentication is rarely about exotic exploits. It's about basic mistakes. Hard-coded tokens, unrotated keys, missing expirations, weak logout logic. These failures have powered some of the largest API abuses in history, from Twitter token leaks to mobile banking session flaws. If authentication is broken, everything else collapses. Shall I continue into API 3, Broken Object Property Level Authorization, showing how APIs have leaked sensitive fields like password hashes or PII by exposing more properties in responses than intended?